Hello and welcome to this second look exploring session looking at Enough is as Good as a Feast by William Wager. It's dating sometime in the mid to late 1560s. The 1560s is a really weird time. All sorts of things are happening with plays as companies start getting larger in the early years of Elizabeth, and all sorts of changes are happening in the theatrical world. So this is nominally a morality play on a relatively traditional theme, but it is doing all sorts of interesting other things as well. So this is a second look. So we're not going to be reading stage directions. Some things happen. We're going to be marking at least one song, which should be three voices singing, but will be, in this case, Aliki marking the song, so you get the text. We are following the original doubling chart as supplied by the printer. I should point out that this doubling chart almost certainly is made up by the printer, having just briefly scanned through the text, and has nothing to do with its performance history. But we're going to test that proposition anyway. Some of the doubling is ridiculous. In fact, again, at one point, I believe at least one character exits and then returns immediately as somebody else. And I think again Aliki's drawn the short straw on that one. As we go. So no stage directions. Doubling is probably nonsense, and the songs are going to be marked through. We have reading Prologue and Heavenly Man is
Helen, not at all angelic in Suffolk.
Reading Worldly Man is
Lynn, quite worldly in the northwestern United States.
Reading Precipitation, Tenant, God's Plagues and Physician is
Sarah, a little rain cloud in Germany.
Reading Contentation, Temerity, Ignorance and Satan is muted.
Alίκη in Lancashire.
Reading Inconsideration, Servant, Rest and Profit.
Steve in Lancashire.
And reading Covetousness, the Vice is
Helen in Yorkshire, and I've taken my throat lozenge. This is a big one.
Yeah, and reading Enough in Hireling is me for my sins, because I have no stage directions to read, so I will read some actual words. You never know, you might be unlucky, I might do some acting as well. No. I probably won't. This straight through, it's quite a chunky one, so we will see you on the other side. Many of us haven't had much chance of prep. Some people have read this play in advance prior to this session, and of course we did a first look exploring session a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So we'll see how much we remember for those who were in the room at the time. But till we come out the other side, we are now all characters, and the play will open with a prologue.
I know that this worshipful audience is at this time together congregate, of our practice to have intelligence, and with the same themselves to recreate. God grant us grace the same well to publicate. But for them that have slept at Parnassus, this faculty is more meet for them than for us. Pandite paredes, vestros sacra, ostia vitia. Open your holy doors, O pleasant muses, direct our tongues to speak eloquently, virtues to praise and to touch abuses, dividing either of them plain, directly, that it may appear to all our audience evidently, that this matter, which we now go about, by your inspiration was first found out. Oh, that with some grace you would us inspire, and deal with us as with Orpheus you dealt. Then should all affections have their desire, for through his music he made stones to melt. No kind of pain in hell then the souls felt, for he played so pleasantly with his harp, that they forgot their pains, grievous and sharp. Tantalus forgot his hunger and thirst. Sisyphus left off rolling his stone. Ixion, tormented among the worst, forgate his will that he was hanged on. The woman Pleiades left work anon, whose labour was continually to fill a tun, where out by clefts the liquor still doth run. These fables wherefore do I call to mind? truly because I desire with all my heart that our English meter may be sick of such kind, both to leave all grievousness and smart, and also to be pleasant in every part, that those which come for recreation may not be void of their expectation. Poets feigned Mercurius to have wings, both on his head and on his heels also, for lively and swift he was in all things, appearing rather to flee than to go. Of him they fain may goodly things mow, but for our purpose this shall serve this season. And why I speak, you shall know the reason. Mercurius is the god of eloquence, by whom I understand the ministers of talk. Such must have the wings of intelligence in their heads before the tongues do far to walk. Danger of rash speed they must widely calk. When, where, and to whom they speak they must note, before that anything pass out of their throat. As Mercurius hath wings upon his head, so hath he wings on his heels ready to fly, when affection standeth in reason's stead, for reporters of tales use eftsoons to lie. The heels of actions do also signify, the wings do always reason comprehend, which unto virtue ought to condescend. Few words to wise men are sufficient. Without a cause I give not this monition. Unto good men it is plain and evident that many men have that lewd condition, by their evil words to bring good men into suspicion. By their indiscreet court they do much harm, because they want reason, their tongues to charm. Let this pass, and go we to the argument, which we will declare in words general. Now such as have a learned judgment know that among the poets comical, in brief sentence it was usual to show the whole contents of the comedy in the argument, which did well verily. But our tongues hath not so commonly a grace in that point as hath the Latin and Greek. We cannot like them our sentences eloquently place, that our poets their orators may be like, as they know well, which for such matters do seek. But to do our best, indeed, we will not neglect, trusting that wise men the same will accept. Our title is Enough is as good as a feast, which rhetorically we shall amplify, so that it shall appear both to most and least, that our meaning is but honesty, yet now and then we will dally merrily, so we shall please them that of mirth be desirous, for we play not to please them, be curious. For a preface, I fear I am too long, but I've said that I will say now. The worldly man is frolic, lusty, and strong, who will show his qualities before you. Stout he is, and in any wise will not bow. Behold yonder, he cometh into this place. Therefore, I finish our simple preface.
Because I am a man endued with treasure, therefore worldly man men do me call. Indeed, I have riches and money at my pleasure, yea, and I will have more in spite of them all. A common saying, better is envy than ruth. I had rather they should spite than pity me. For the old saying nowadays proveth true, naught have naught set by, as daily we see. Lewis, I am not of the mind as some men are, which look for no more than will serve necessity. No, against a day to come I do prepare, that when age cometh, I may live merrily. Oh, saith one, enough is as good as a feast. Yea, but who can tell what his end shall be? Therefore, I count him worse than a beast, that will not have that in respect, and see, as mine own father, an example I may take. He was beloved of all men, and kept a good house, whilst riches lasted. But when that did slake, there was no man that did set by him a louse. And so, at such time as he from the world went, I mean when he died, he was not worth a groat. and they that all his substance had spent for the value of 12 pence would have cut his throat. But I trow I will take heed of such. They shall go ere they drink, when they come to me. It doth me good to tell the chinks in my hutch, more than at the tavern or alehouse to be.
God careth for his, as the prophet David doth say, and preserveth them under his merciful wing. The heavenly, I mean, that his will do obey, and observe his holy commandments in all things, yet not for our sakes, nor for our deserving, but for his own name's sake, openly to declare that all men here on earth ought to live in his fear.
This same is one of our jolly talkers that prattleth so much of heaven and hell. Oh, I tell you, these are godly walkers. Of many strange things they can tell. They pass men, yea, angels they excel. Sir, are you not called heavenly man? I have been in your company ere now, I cannot tell when.
Yes, certainly, sir, that is my name. Unworthy of any such title, I do confess. God grant that I may deserve the same, and that my faults I may amend and redress. Therefore now the truth do you here express. Is not the worldly man your name?
Yes, indeed, sir, I am the very same.
From the heavenly man I cannot long be absent, which in God's promises hath his consolation, considering that he always is content patiently to suffer God's visitation. For understand you, my name is Contentation, whom the worldly man doth mock and deride, and will not suffer him once in his mind to abide.
This same is the grandsire of them all. This is he that will through water and fire. Good reasoning betwixt us now here you shall, for to follow him he will earnestly me require. But he shall be hanged, ere he have his desire. You are welcome, sir. Saving my quarrel indeed, you have reported of me much more than you need.
Nothing but truth, sir, certainly I have said. Oft times I have counselled you your covetousness to leave, but my words as feathers in the wind you have weighed, and stuck to them as glue to the water doth cleave. But take heed, the reward thereof you shall receive. Once again I advertise thee to be content, and give thanks to God for that he hath thee sent.
I pray for you to be content, for I am pleased, and meddle you no more with me than I do with you.
To be angry without a cause, without mends, must be eased. We will be more earnest than ever we were now. Woe, saith our Saviour, to those that are rich, which therein only have their consolation. He curseth them not because they have much, but because they receive it not with contentation, building therewith to themselves a good foundation, that is to lay here on earth treasure great store, to purchase a kingdom that lasteth evermore.
Mission of me, masters, what would you have me do? You are fond fellows indeed as ever I knew. For if I should not take pains, ride, run, and go for my living, what thereof would ensue? A beggar should I die. Masters, this is true. Then my wife and children that I leave behind, I fear me at your hands small relief should find.
I have been young, saith David, and now I'm old. Yet the righteous forsaken I never did see, nor their seed begging bread I did not behold. Therefore your mind to the prophets do not agree. Cast all thy burden and care, saith Christ, upon me, and I will provide to keep thee from danger and strife. Only seek thou to live a godly and good life.
When Solon was asked of Croesus the king, what man was most happy in this vale terrestrial, to the end he seemed to attribute that thing, when men be associate with treasures celestial.
By the beginning no man can judge the same, Solon doth say, that any man is happy that beareth breath, but yet by the end partly judge we may, For true happiness, saith he, consisteth after death.
If this be true, as undoubtedly it is, what men are more wicked, wretched, and miserable than those that in riches account their bliss, being infected with ambition, that sickness uncurable?
The treasure of this world we may well compare to Kirkis the witch, with her crafty quality, wherewith many men's minds so poisoned are that quite they are carried to all infidelity. They are conjured so indeed, and bewitched so sore that that treasure is their trust, yea, hope and delight. Enough serveth them not till that they have more. So against Contentation they still strive and fight.
Though the worthy man do follow their lust, crying on earth is our felicity and pleasure. God does so rule the hearts of the just, that their study is chiefly to get heavenly treasure.
Friends, I take you both for honest men. I promise you I would be glad to do for the best. Marry, then I take care which way and when I may get treasure, therewith to live in rest. Oh, methinks it is a very pleasant thing to see a great heap of old angels and crowns. When I have store of money, I can be merry and sing. For money, as men say, winneth both city and towns.
Alas, why should you not have that in estimation, which God hath prepared for his dear elect? Should not our minds rest in full contentation, having trust in that treasure most high and respect? St. Paul, whom the Lord so highly doth erect, saith, it passes the sense, our memories and mind, much less can our outward eyes the same find. As for the treasure that you possess here, through fickleness of fortune soon fadeth away, the greatest of renown and most worthy peer, sometimes in the end falleth to misery and decay. Record of Dionysus, a king of much fame, of the valiant Alexander, and Caesar the strong, record of Tarquinius, which Superbus had to name, and of Heliogabalus, that ministered with wrong. To recite them all would be all very long, but this be sufficient plainly to prove how soon and uncertainly riches doth remove.
'Tis true, and therefore a mind well content is great riches, as wise King Solomon doth say. For we have seen of late days this canker pestilent corrupting our realm to our utter decay, ambition I mean, which chiefly doth reign amongst those who should have been example to other. Yea, we see how the brethren they did disdain, and burned with fire the child with the mother. 'Tis often seen that such monstrous ambition, as spareth not to spill the blood of the innocent, will not greatly stick to fall to sedition, the determinations of God thereby to prevent. But God, I trust, shall disappoint their intent, and overthrow the power of fading treasure, and cause us all to wish for the heavenly pleasure.
O you ancient men, whom God hath furnished with fame, be ye always mindful to walk in the ways of the just, and add ever more virtue to your honest name, and at no hand be overcome with covetousness or lust. But in God's holy promise put confidence and trust, and then double felicity, the last we shall possess. And then in all earthly doings God shall give good success. Ye poor men and commons, walk in your vocation. Banish fond fantasies which are not convenient. Settle your minds with enough to have contentation, considering that leadeth to treasures most excellent. For these are uncertain, but they are most permanent. Your necessity apply with treasure, faith, and trust, and you shall have enough always among the just.
And indeed, enough is as good as a feast. Good Lord, how your words have altered my mind. A new heart, methinks, is entered in my breast. For no thought of mine old in me I can find. I would to God you would take me in your company, and learn me how I may be an heavenly man. And now I perceive this world is but vanity. Let a man therefore make of it as much as he can.
You speak as you think, and as you mind, do you say? Could you be content to lead the rules of a godly life?
I do mean it truly, and I will study them night and day, for I regard neither treasure, children, nor wife.
Give me your hand, then, together let us depart.
And I will wait upon you, sir, with all my heart.
When Covertous is busy, then we three be all merry, for he doth trimly invent to make us find frolic cheer, be vitals never so dear, and all our money clean spent. Therefore we spare no cost, we can be trusted of our host for shillings 20 and 1. Covetous hath a good wit, he findeth a mean to pay it. When all our money is gone, therefore troll the bowl to me. With Huffchild and have to thee, the longest liver pay all. Our trust is in Covetous, for he is prudent and wise. Therefore money cannot fail, O covetous prudent prince. All strong walls you dost convince, and rulest them every one. Thou dost drive many adrift, and makest for us much shift. When all our money is gone,
At Blackheath Field, where great Goliath was slain, the moon lying in childbed of her son, the Tyburn at Warwick was then king of Spain, by whom the land of Canaan then was won. It happened between Peterborough and Pentecost, about such a time as I was made of wormwood. That child's work in Basilwood with fire was lost, and all through the treason of false Robin Hood, that saw Sir Guy of Warwick and Colbrand, which fought against the sun and stopped his light. Ah, yea, quoth Hobgoblin, let me take them by the hand. Children, not able to resist my might. Our wonderful bloodshed was in those days, for St. Stephen fought against the Golden Knight, insomuch that Peter was fain to give his keys to those God knows that to them had no right. And with the grief of that, all the saints of heaven proclaim open wars at Barnard in the field. They fought him from 6 of the clock to 11, or ever the traitors would give o'er and yield. But to say there was triumph, in faith there was. St. Stephen the Younger was made captain of the guard. Wonderful it was to see such things he brought to pass, and I am quite sure the like of them ye never heard. By Gis, quoth St. Stephen, it was time to trudge. Friar Francis took his flight to Paul's steeple. In faith, he was even with them for an old grudge, for he carried away the weathercock in spite of the people. Then I was dubbed knight at Kynaston, and made an officer of all courts and laws. I gave my offices and livings many a one. Marry, indeed you may say so, it was for a cause. I'faith, the same day that Midsummer was married, I never laughed better in all my life. For even suddenly, away St. Uncumber carried both bridegroom and the bride his wife. No remedy on God's name, but I must bear them company. Cheer in faith there was, cheer in bowl. And who was minstrel but St. Anthony? He made melody for all Christian souls. A quarter of a year we tarried there in the tent, wherein we had Capricorn baked like red deer. I tarried so long till I was shent. Jesu, how they cried out of me there. Well, I must abroad among my friends, every hour till they come. Till I come, they think a day. I will go among them to fulfill their minds. Very well, gossip, I must need away.
What, Covertous? Whither away so fast? Saw you not by the mast till I was almost past?
What? Mine own brother Temerity, I rejoice to see you, I swear by the Trinity.
For thee we three have taken great thought.
Lord, how far about for you we have sought.
And I pray you, where have you three sought for me?
In the King's Bench, and in the Marshalsea, yea, and in all the counters, and at Newgate, for these are places meet for thine estate.
I perceive well it must be by my chance, above all your kinfolk, you to enhance. Your place is at St. Thomas or Waterings, or else at Wapping beyond St. Catherine's. There will I dub you Knights of the Halter, among your mates there strongly to tolter.
You are to blame, in faith, Precipitation, for you began this fond communication.
You are knaves to use such salutation.
Why, brother, we speak for your consolation.
Speak what you will, even with you I can make. Speak you in mirth, and in mirth do I take. I do it take. But by the mass, if you go about me to flout, I will make the better of you three to lout.
No, sir, no, we came not hither you to molest. Our business, I tell you, is very earnest.
By God's
By God's ours true, if now we make not shift. We are all four like to have a great lift.
If ever Covertous were in danger of punishment, he standeth now at the point of banishment.
Santi Blackie, you make me much to muse. Passion of me, sirs. Why, what news?
I think the day of judgment be now at hand. For it was never thus since the world did stand. The worldly man hath forsaken covetous clean, and unto contentation and enough he doth lean.
What doth he? Benedicity, is this true?
Yeah, faith, he's quite becomen a new. Moreover, with the heavenly man he is associate, where he studieth the rules of godly life, early and late.
Body of me, Precipitation, fetch me my gown, my cap and my chain. I will to the town. Marry, sir, indeed it is time to stir coals. I will go near to fetch some of them out of their holes.
Haste maketh waste, brother Covertous, you wot? No love so soon cold as that is most hot. I warrant you, the worldly man will soon be weary. They will not suffer him once to be merry, and verily he is inclined to be naught. Therefore think not that by the he will long be taught.
Now by the mass of one that should have sapience, I never heard none utter such a foolish sentence. Knew you not that whensoever a sinner doth repent, that God forgiveth him his wickedness incontinent?
Oh, true indeed, as heretofore hath been seen. Many have been made heavenly that worldly have been.
Here is your gown, your chain, and your cap.
Body of me, but for shame, thou shouldst bear me a rap. Whoreson thief, the devil in hell thee choke. What mean'st thou, foolish knave, to bring my cloak?
There is blood, I hold you a crown. Body of me, he hath not a cloak from a gown.
Tush, masters, he was stirring in the morning betime. At 4 o'clock in a cellar, he was saying of prime.
I blame him not, though betimes he steer, for he is made ale cunner in our parish this year. His pains is so great in tasting of drink that many times his eyes into his head do sink. And then he looketh prettily, as narrow as a crow. I tell you, he can scarce read the letters of his crossrow.
Body of me, you are knaves, all three. Take gown, chain, cap, and all for me. I will be even with you, I swear by God's mother. Choose you and shift how you can for one another. I warrant you, I shall be able to shift for myself, or else you may say I were a foolish elf.
Why, brother, you said you would all things well take.
Yes, but I would not have you your fool me to make. For you know well enough that of you all three I am worthy the governor and ruler to be. Covetous, said the wise man, is the root of all evil. Therefore, covetous is the chiefest that cometh from ye devil. But this is that knave, I mean Precipitation. But I will be even with him, I swear by the passion.
I am sorry, by my truth, that you are so sore offended. What, sir, if a fault be made, it shall be amended.
Nay, faith, I am an ale conner, or some drunken fool. I am no better, but your courage I will cool. That witless knave, too, Inconsideration, he was the beginner of this disputation. But it is no matter, once or Christmas Day, I will be even with you, be it as he may.
What, worshipful Master Covetousness, are you angry with me? I'm sorry for it, man. What more can I be? Hang me up by the neck like a strong thief, if ever I speak any word that shall put you to grief.
I would do for you, sirs, for I love you all three. Marry then, I look that you should accept me.
My troth, brother, I dare say none of us, all but that to do as you bid us, ready find you shall.
Marry then, on good fellowship, let us like friends agree.
Above
Above all things that desire we.
Will you help them then to make me gay?
As you will wish it, so will we you array.
Will you consent to show me reverence?
Yea, at all times we will show to you our obedience.
Will you take me for your master and head?
Yea, marry, sir, so it standeth us instead.
And do you say, as you think in very deed?
Yea, that shall you prove in all time of need.
First, to help on my gown, some pains do you take. Then I will see what curtsy you can make.
It is trim indeed, by the mass, in that gown. Methinks you be worthy to be mayor of a town.
Say you so? Then how like you this countenance?
Very comely, and like a person of great governance.
Then all is well. Come, do your duty.
O worthy Prince
Worthy
Covertous,
Covetous,
we humbly salute thee.
Ah, body of me, that same will mar all. When in company I come, if covetous you do me call.
Therefore it is best for us all to change our names.
Or else peradventure we shall come to shames.
Well, hold your peace, then, let me alone, and I will devise names for you, every one. Sirrah, nay, you gape at me.
What shall my name be?
You will have it, or I have it, will you? Sirrah, thy name shall be...
What?
You.
I-
Oh, sorry.
What? I pray you?
A shame take thee, unmannerly lout. Thou camest so hastily, thou hast put me out. Nay, that maid looks at me. Come hither, Inconsideration. I have a name for thee.
Have you, sir? I pray, what should it be?
Nay, by the mass, it's gone again.
And I would know it, I tell you, very fain.
Yea, but you must tarry till I have it.
I tell you, my brother hath a brave wit.
A shame take thee. I have it now all three. Come hither, brother, I will tell you what your name shall be. You know it, men nowadays to reason do trust, therefore reason yourself from henceforth name you must. Temerity, I know well thy quality, thou art heady, and shall be called Agility. I study a name for Precipitation. If it may hit, let me see. By my truth, you shall be called Ready Wit.
Excellent name indeed, for I am ready and quick with a pen. For before I see one, I can condemn 10. I pass not for any man's matters or cause. Money and wit shall govern the laws.
Well, maesters, I have chosen names for each one of you, but mine own name I know not. I make God a vow. How if I call my name Wit or Policy?
Marry, sir, that agreeth to your nature exceedingly.
Truth. For what shall the worldly man do with you three, except to maintain you? He take in me. Little worth is reason, ready wit and agility. Except to maintain them, there be a policy. Sirs, you tell me worldly man is converted.
Yea, faith, that forever from us he is departed.
Forever, quoth he. Ha, ha, ha. No, no, I warrant thee I. What this gear meaneth full well I do espy. Touch, he purposeth to go both to heaven and to hell, and fetch news from thence to the people to tell. He will be a prophet that was wont to be a devil.
But his prophecy, I think, will prove but evil.
Oh, well, no more words. Enough is as good as a feast. They say it is parlous with edged tools to jest.
Now, sirs, I will tell you this. This is all my drift, to get the worldly man hither by some shift. Temerity, thou shalt with him thyself acquaint, and that which thou canst do to him forth you shall paint. Virtue is made an error by temerity, for stoutly he standeth against the verity. For temerity, learned men do say, is a quality to do all things without delay. So that if thou mayst get into his habitation, he will soon be weary enough, and contentation then with him shall work. Precipitation, who is of this property and inclination to see and do all without forecast, not thinking of things to come or things past, therefore after that temerity doth once enter, thou shalt put thy service in adventure. Then Inconsideration shall get into his mind, who is a quality much of the same kind. He weareth neither time, person, nor place, neither, as they say, the tail, nor then the face. Thus, if you three within him once be placed, you shall see it. Enough of him shall soon be disgraced. Under the name of policy, to enter I do not doubt, and I being entered, enough shall be cast out. For where covetous in any place doth remain, there content with enough cannot abide certain. So that he shall run headlong into the pit, doing all things headlong without modesty or wit. Lo, here to your mind I have disclosed all I have said, that I have now purposed.
By the faith of my body, it is worthily devised.
In all haste go thou and be thou disguised. Marry, now there cometh another thing to my remembrance. And none of you acquainted with ghostly ignorance.
Worry, party, he's my ghostly father.
I would speak with him as much the rather for divers causes that I do consider. My brother and thou shalt depart hence together. Look you, make you trim as fast as you can, and then in haste seek to speak with the worldly man. In consideration to ghostly ignorance thou shalt resort, and this message from me to him thou shalt report. First, that he name himself Devotion, and we will help him to dignity and promotion. Charge him not to be out of the way, for we purpose to send for him this present day.
For as much as you put your trust and confidence in me, what I can do for you, or it be long, you shall see.
Where to find ghostly ignorance, I'm sure? Seldom or never at home at his own cure.
No, the sermons that ghostly ignorance hath made hath almost brought all ye parishes in England out of trade.
Well, hie you apace, that you were gone. Precipitation and I will tarry here alone.
Farewell, Covetous, till we meet again.
Shall not be long, if our purpose we obtain.
Nay, hear you, God be with you. Will you be gone? Body of me, you are no better than knaves, every one. Farewell, Covetous, nay, farewell, good lob. They have even as much manners as a dog. Plain Covetous. This is according to promise, is it not? Well, what I intend to do for it, I wot what I wot.
I cry you mercy, right worshipful Master Covetous, most prudent, polite, sapient, and wise.
Oh, pardon us by my truth, it was but forgotten.
Nay, I take it even thus. Soon ripe, soon rotten. I am no body with you, but by him I swear I took the greatest stroke amongst you to bear.
Enough is as good as a feast. We are warned, I trow. From henceforth our duties, I warrant you we will show. We take our leave of you, most noble Prince Covetous, the King, Emperor, yea, the God of all vice.
Oh, worthy visage and body well compact, oh, goodly man in wit worked and fact, we simple creatures do show to you obedience, being mind to depart under your patience.
Yea, marry, this is somewhat like the matter.
Crafty knaves, how they can full flatter.
Fare ye well both. Give me your hands, one after another. I love ye as dearly as the children of my mother. How sayest thou, Precipitation? How likest thou this matter?
By my truth, I will tell the truth, yea, and not flatter. I perceive well enough what herein you do mean. You will not leave till you have marred him clean, not only riches singular and private, but also public weals you will spoliate. For I perceive by your former monition that through ghostly ignorance you will destroy devotion. I mean true faith in God's love and hope, and cause him in clear sunshine for light to grope.
Thou thinkest as truth is in very deed, I intend no less, if my device may lightly speed. There I will begin. If error once reign in religion, I warrant thee in public, weal will soon be division.
Well, what you intend to me doth not appertain. My nature is to rage where haste doth reign. And what causeth haste? But only temerity that maketh fools hardy with security. Precipitation forth doth this worldly man lead, so that all his affairs be done rudely on heed. Then Inconsideration, both night and day, shall prompt him forward nothing at all to weigh, neither to consider his beginning, neither at the end what shall be the winning. So that if all we do are proper nature and kind, he shall not regard who shall the profit find.
Lupus est in fabula, no more words.
I never fear any such kind of birds. This is the worldly man, I suppose? Oh, indeed.
To work wisely with him, I see we had need.
I find it true, as the wise King Solomon doth say, it is better to have a little with fear of the Lord than to have much treasure and yet go astray. I mean to decline from God's holy word. The proverb saith, enough is as good as a feast. He that hath enough and cannot be content, in my judgment he is worse than a beast, for he wanteth good conscience, mind, and intent.
The chariot of Covertous is, as Barnard doth write, on 4 wheels of vices is carried away, and these be the 4 vices that he doth recite: contempt of God, forgetfulness of death each day, faint courage, and ungentleness, he doth say. These be the wheels that to adversity's cart doth belong. These have persuasions to beguile men many and strong. The same chariot hath 2 horses, which doth it draw, the one named Raveny, and the other Niggardship. Their carter is desire to have, who always doth claw, by fraud or guile one another to nip. This carter hath 2 cords to his whip. The one is appetite and felicity for to get. The other is called dread and fear to forlet.
When this chariot goes in the ground of man's mind, he is not once able to think a good thought. For covetous doth the heart so much to lucre bind, that he judges all things to be vain, and naught except some gain or profit thereby be brought. I myself am able to say it, for I do know. To have gotten money I studied to deceive high and low. But thanks be to God, the Father of all might, which will not let the death of sinners, as Scripture doth say. It hath pleased him to open unto me the true light, whereby I perceive the right path from the broad way. Therefore I am content myself to stay with enough which bringeth me to quiet in body and mind. Yea, and all other commodities there I do find.
Godliness is great riches if a man can be content, when God hath sent him plenty and enough. Let us praise him for our food and raiment, and live godly in all our lives through, for we must tread the paths of death so sharp and rough. And then shall we be sure to carry as little away as we brought with us. Thus St. Paul doth say. A muted vice at this moment.
Body of me, he is marvellous foregone. We shall have somewhat to do with him anon.
It was ill luck that he came not alone. I would that beggarly knave in hell were.
Well, let me alone. I will go near and cause him of his company to be weary. I have done as great acts thrice in this year. I am not to learn to row in Illyric's ferry. I will go to him, and thou shalt wait upon me. Thou shalt hear what a tale to him I will tell.
If thou speed well now, I dare promise thee the devil will give thee the crown of hell.
God speed you, sir, I pray you. Might I be so bold as to have a word or two with you in your ear?
Well, yea, heartily, my friend, say what you would. Your mind unto me you may boldly declare.
I pray you, are you not acquainted with this gentleman? I would fain speak with him a word or twain alone. I beseech you, help me to my request, if you can, for I have haste on my way and must needs be gone.
If you had required a greater thing of me, I would have done it for you, I tell you certain. Sir, one of yonder men, which you do see, would speak with you alone very fain.
I will go to him and know his mind. Is it you that would speak with me, my friend?
Yea, forsooth, sir.
What say you to me?
Oh, sir, oh, good sir. Oh, my heart will break. Oh, for sorrow, God, what I cannot speak.
What is the matter? Wherefore weep you thus?
Pure love causeth him, sir. I was sure that he loves you at the heart.
I thank him. Truly, it is undeserved on my part. Gentle friend, I pray you cease your lamentation. Sure, it is a thing to see a man weep in this fashion.
I cannot choose. I cannot choose. I cannot choose if my life I should lose. To hear that I hear. Oh, well, it is no matter. I am not he that any man will flatter.
To hear what you hear? Why? What hear you of me?
Marry, sir, he heareth it wonderfully changed you be.
Oh, I am so indeed, for that I give God the glory. And if you be my friend for my change, you are not sorry. I trust you have chosen all for the best. For my former wickedness, I hate and detest.
Nay, I would to God that were the worst. But I shall have ill will. I think I am accursed.
Judge him not to be of a discreet mind, that for the truth will be angry with his friend. The talk of talkers' tongues I do not much weigh, yet I pray you heartily, tell me what they say.
Covetous, covetous, every man says you be. A shame take them all, prating knaves for me. I am of such a nature as no man is but I. To hear my friend ill spoken of, I had rather die. Yea, wise man, you are called even so. All the country of you speak both shame and woe. He was wont, saith one, to keep a good house, but now, saith another, there's no living for a mouse.
If this be the worst for their talk, I do not care. Let them say so heartily, and do not spare. I trust I have chosen with Mary the better part.
Oh, yet, good sir, this grieveth him to the heart.
Yea, God wot, it is none other, it is none other. I love you as well as mine own born brother. Think you it grieveth me not to hear each boy and girl to say that worldly man, is become a churl.
He had need to live very circumspectly, that would take upon him to please all men directly. Behold enough.
Nay, hear you, this grieveth me worst, so God me save. They say you keep company with every beggarly knave.
Where I keep company, they have naught to do. As near as I can into none but honest company I go. See you, I pray you, enough.
Nay, but hear you, is enough his name?
Yea, indeed, it is the very self same.
St. Dunstan, a man would not judge it by his coat. Now truly I would not take him to be worth a groat. Hark you, i' faith, know you not me?
No, truly that I wot of, I did you ever see.
That is a marvel indeed, the truth for to tell. I dare say your father knew us both very well.
Did you never hear of him speak of one policy?
Yes, that I have sure, 100 times, verily.
I am he verily, and this your friend, ready wit, with whom to be acquainted, for you it is fit.
Truth indeed, as Seneca saith wittily, the wise man and not the rich is void of misery.
Policy and ready wit. Now the truth is so, there is no man living that can spare you two. I trust God worketh for me happily indeed, to send me all such things where I have need. For without ready wit, who can answer make? Without a policy, all commodities will slake. A ready wit will soon gather and conceive what he shall forsake and what he shall receive. Truly now I remember a saying of Tully, the divine, where he doth both wisdom and learning define. Learning maketh men sober, saith he, and it causes old men of good comfort to be. Policy is the riches and possession of the poor, yet it garnisheth the rich with goodly adore. That may conveniently without you be. Give me your hands, for you are welcome heartily. I am exceedingly joyful of your good company. Indeed, I beseech you bid my friends welcome hither. For from henceforth we must dwell all together.
Be not rash in taking of a friend, Aristotle doth say, nor when thou hast taken him, cast him not away. Admit not thy friend either high or low, except his behaviour to others doth know. For look how before he hath served his other friend, even so he will serve thee also in the end.
Your parables truly I do not well understand, except you mean I should have no friends but you by me to stand.
Enough is as good as a feast, well you wot, more than enough a man needeth not, whether it be lands, money, friends, or store. If he have enough, what needeth he any more?
I perceive that against us two you do grutch. Can a man of policy and ready wit have too much? The noble King Solomon was rich and had wisdom in great store, yet he ceased not daily to pray to God for more.
Get thee store of friends, saith Cicero, for it is deemed a true friend more than kinsfolk is to be esteemed.
It is an old proverb, and of an ancient time, which saith, it is not all gold that like gold doth shine. No more are all friends that friendship pretend, as it approved with many in the end.
Yea, enough, but I am sure that this policy and ready wit are my friends, verily.
Are we? The faith thereof you may be sure. We are they which your wealth shall procure. Enough is not enough without us two, for having not us, what can enough do? Enough is maintained by wisdom and policy, which is contained of a ready wit, naturally.
Having a ready wit and of policy the skill, you need not to care for this enough, except you will. There is another enough, which is invisible, which enough to want is impossible. For this, enough is enough, I cannot deny, but this enough serveth, but even competent lie. You have no more now than doth yourself serve, but that your poor brethren for all you may sterve, but enough that cometh by us twain is able yourself and any other to sustain.
Your words are even as true as the gospel, as one named Reason of late did me tell. You may be more heavenly, saith he, having riches, than if you had nothing, the truth to express. And I find his words true, for when alms I would give, I have not wherewith the needy to relieve. Enough I have for myself, I cannot say nay, but I would have more to succor the needy always.
These words proceed from a covetous mind, and from a worldly lust which doth you blind. Was not the poor widow for her offering praised more than all they it offered of their superfluity and store? The sacrifice of God, as the prophet David doth say, is a broken heart and a good mind alway.
Oh, he says well by a lady, yea, and like an honest man. But yet, sir, riches to be good well prove I can, for every man is not called after one sort, but some are called to prophecy, some to preach and exhort, and he by that means heaven joys to win, but every man knoweth not the way to walk in. Therefore every man, as his vocation is, must walk. I'm sure that against this you will not talk.
The great boasters are not the best givers, nor the earnest preachers are the best livers. As lucre increaseth riches and honour, so covetous enlargeth daily more and more. I know some in this realm which once were content with poorly enough which God to them had sent, wishing of a good conscience, as they said verily, that God would once again restore the verity. If it please thee, good Lord, said they, thy word to us again send, and then truly our covetous lives we will amend. But since it hath pleased God them to wealth or to restore, they are 10 times more covetous than they were before. Yea, headlong, without all consideration, they for covetous make some laws in that nation, such buying and selling of leases and benefices, such doubling of wares to extreme prices, so shamefully God's ministers they poll and shave, that not half enough to live upon they have. But it is an old saying, and a true certainly, it will not out of the flesh, ye is bred in it bone verily. The worldly man will needs be a worldly man still. Well, choose you, I will let you alone. Do what you will. I cannot think but those that of me hold scorn will be glad of me ere ever the year be half worn.
Marry, farewell, adieu to the devil. Body of me, he would make me his drivel.
You may see what a trusty friend he is.
A beggarly knave, I warrant you by the bliss. And even so he and they went about me to make. Within a while I should have gone to the hedge for a stake.
I warrant you that you should have proved shortly they would not have left you one groat nor penny. I marvel you would tarry with them any time or season. You are old enough, I trow, to be ruled by reason.
A shame take them all. I have spent on them 20 pound that I had of money and of mine own good ground. I am ashamed of myself, so God save me, because I have sold almost all that ever I have. My friends and companions, when I go in the street, so God help me, I am ashamed with them to meet.
Passion of me, it was time to look about, They would have quite undone you, or else without doubt. But I trow, if you will be ruled by me, what I will do for you, or ere it be long, you shall see. 1,000 ways I can invent, to fetch in double as much as you have spent.
Be ruled by you? Yes, here I do you both embrace as mine own mind to follow all my life's space. For I tell you plain, I am weary of their school.
It is time for you, else they would have made you a fool.
I perceive no less, indeed, by the talk of reason, but so it should have come to pass in season.
And do you, my brother, reason perfectly know?
Yea, and with him one called agility, I trow. Reason came to me, and mihi flectere mentem, he said. Sola solet, ratio dux fides, sophron est. It cannot be denied. To nature and reason he doth open injury, which of other men counsel doth seek. God hath given men reason, and their wits policy. To forsake that is ill, and to take that he doth like.
Believe you not these words to be very true?
Yes, and I have thought on them 20 times since, I tell you. Oh, sirs, methinks if I had money and treasure again, in faith, I would be a lively lad, I tell you plain. Heavenly man, quoth he, let them be heavenly for me. The best heaven is methinks is rich for to be.
If faith, it shall cost me and my friends a fall, but you shall be twice as rich as you were before. We will do it to spite them, even withal, though we do hundreds wrong therefore. I have set some aloft in a high place, which had rather die, I dare well say, than 1 inch of their state should fall or abase, but rather to climb up higher if they may. Who of this world I rule the whole state. Yea, faith, I govern all laws, rights, and orders. I at my pleasure raise war, strife, and debate. And again I make peace in all coasts and borders. Nay, yet a much more marvel than that. Behold, see you this little pretty hand? This is an arm of steel, for it overthroweth flat the strongest walls and towers in a whole hand. Power I have laws to alter and make, and all laws made are guided by me. All that is done wholly for my sake. What strength I have by this you may see. Moreover, I have in this little hand the hearts of all men and women upon earth. I rule them both by sea and by land. Plenty I make, and I make also dearth. Whoa, it is wonderful that is done by policy. Whilst you live, take heed. Strive not against policy. The best of them are all glad and policy. Yea, in Westminster Hall, they use much policy.
Prudentia nosct omnia, saith the nobleman Tully. Policy knoweth all things, both good and ill, truly. Oh, policy, what meant I from reason and thee to stray? Never will I forsake you nor yours after this day. Oh, help me, policy, help me to some money, whose taste I love better than the taste of honey.
Sith the worthy policy you have entertained, now none of his instruments must be disdained.
Disdained? No, faith, let him teach me what he will, and I will do it, if it were mine own father to kill.
Say you so? By the mass, give me your hand. Come, go with me. Let us no longer idle stand.
Oh, how hard a thing and difficult it is for them that in their riches do trust, enter into the kingdom of heaven or bliss. The words of our Saviour to be true, grant we must. It is as easy for a camel through a needle's eye to thrust, as him that on riches hath fixed his mind, the way to eternal salvation to find. Example hereof you see with your eyes, of the worldly man given to vain pleasure. He promised you heard from sin to arise, and said he would love neither money nor treasure, but as he ought to love it, that is, in a due measure. But behold how quickly his promise he hath broke, whereby he kindleth God's wrath against him to smoke. For now hath he entertained to him temerity, precipitation, and heady inconsideration. These cause him to work all things heedly, then covet to be had in reputation. Then Covertous disguiseth himself on such fashion, that as Seneca saith, he doth good to no man, but hurt, and most to himself, as time shall prove well.
Alas, alas, to whom should I make my moan? Forever and a day am quite undone. My landlord is so covetous as the devil of hell, except I'll give him such a shameful rent as cham not able, away I must incontinent. Chav dwelt there these 36 year, yea, these 40, I may tell you well near, and I never paid above yearly £5, and by Our Lady, that be enough, chav found. Well, now I must give him even as much more, or else I must void the next quarter or before. Oh, masters, is not this even a lamentable thing? To see our landlords their poor tenants do ring. They are not so covetous to ask another, I believe, but a sort of fools are as ready to give, and especially strangers. Yea, a shameful sort are placed now in England, and that in every port, that we, our wives and children, no houses can get wherein we may live. Such a price on them is set. Chab thought a while ago my landlord would not have done thus, for he said he would be a heavenly man, I was. But zo, the devil is as heavenly as he, 3 times worse than he was before, as far as I can see.
Body of me, this would make a man to swear. At shame take them, Mary, that ever they came here. Nay, by gifts, I thought he would not be heavenly long, for that too his nature was clean contrarian wrong. Yonder, such a sort of rutterkins, lively and jolly, that all that can be gotten is little enough for their belly. So we work, we labour, and that night and day, yet can we scant have meat and drink, truth to say, and that which we have is ill enough for dogs. We are served with all, like a many of hogs.
What, servant? I pray thee, what news with thee?
By my truth, Father Tenant, even as you see, kept like no man's servant, but rather like a slave. I'm weary of my life, I tell you, so God me save. My master taketh on like the devil of hell. There was never one so hasty, cruel, and fell, but so covetous, Lord, you will not believe. I think all his mind and study to bribery it doth give.
Oh, now, pestilence take him, vile cankered churl. He is neither good to man, women, boy, nor girl. Is this the heavenly man? A shame take him else, body of me, in all wickedness he now excels. And if a thing come in his head, be it good or ill, without all wit or reason, he do it he will. But so covetous, Lord, I think if he might choose, the dropping of his nose he would not lose. Every week, truly, nay, then every day he must have account how many eggs his hens lay. Why? There was never seen such a miser as he, that the plague cut the throat of him for me. Oh, I have wrought for him this half year by the week, and now my work is done, my money is to seek. If I and all mine should starve for money, of him I dare say I should not get 1 penny. A shame take him, how well the scripture of him is weighed, which saith, sleep not till the hireling thou hast paid.
I see well that I complain not of him alone, but others, as well as I, have good cause to moan. Well, servant, weeping will not help this gear, but God will plague him for it, I do not fear.
I told you, Hireling, how you should be served.
What servant? Thou look'st as though thou wast starved.
He looketh as lustily, freshly, and as well as all the servants that with his master do dwell.
His master? Why, he is no better than a thief. For so that he may have it, he cares not who suffer grief.
Nay, by the mass, that word is but too true. So that his riches increaseth, he careth not who rue.
I know the occasion of all this gear. I would not for £20 it should come to his ear. He saith that he will never leave his extortion till of riches he hath gotten an innumerable portion. He will build, plant, set, and sow till such a fame of him abroad there grow, that there is none like to him in all the country. So by that means he shall come to authority.
But lightly those that come to authority after that rate do end their lives in some miserable and unhappy state.
Thou fool, saith Christ, this night will I fetch thy soul for thee, and then who shall have the things that thine be? Well, let him alone. I hope all will prove for the best. Even as he leadeth his life, so shall he find rest.
For God's sake, look where the steward comes. Oh, body of me, sirs, which way shall I run?
God speed you. What mean you? Would you speak with me?
Yea, sir, even to desire your worship, my friend, for to be. I have a certain petition to your mastership to move, and I desire you to be my friend in it for God's love.
What's the matter? Let me know it at once. I have somewhat else to do here than to tread the stones.
By my truth, sir, I beseech you for me to speak a good word to your good master and my landlord. I have dwelt in his house these 40 years almost, and thereupon have bestowed much money and cost. And now I hear say I must double my rent, or else void out of it, and that incontinent. I beseech you, for God's sake, on me take some pity and bone. If I be put out forever, I shall not done. Oh, good sir, I know that you may do much.
By my truth, I can do nothing herein, and so God help me, I esteem no such matter worth a pin. By our lady, sir, you have had it a fair season, and it a man should make what he can of his own, it is reason. I warrant you there be now that the rent will give.
Oh, but they shall never thrive on it then, I believe. I know what he may do with the house and ground. He may chance to find rent enough of £5.
Well, care not you for that. If you be a wise man, you had best get one better, cheap where you can. For I know that so much for it have he may, yea, if it stood empty even this present day.
Well, sir, yet methinks there should be a conscience. I think God hateth such covetous, sir, by your patience.
Thou art a foolish fellow. Hear of me to complain, for I meddle with no such matters. I tell you plain.
Good gentlemen, God save your life, I pray to our Lord. May I be so bold to speak with you, a gentleman, one word?
Whether the devil wilt thou? Into mouth me, I think. For God, Ames, how he smells all of drink.
Nay, by my truth, sir, I drink none other drink today, but a little fleet milk, mingled with whey. For so God help me, if for drink or meat I should die, I have not one farthing any therewith to buy. And by my truth, sir, this is my suit at this time. I served your master in making brick and lime. Yeah. Half a year together, not missing one day, and by my truth, all my wages is yet for to pay. And if it please you herein to show me some pleasure, the same to my power with the like I will measure.
Body of me, what beggarly knave is here? Wait, canst thou not forbear thy money 1 year?
No, by my truth, sir, for I have no lands, nor nothing to live upon, but only my hands. I beseech you, be good to me.
Why? I meddle not with such things, you do know.
Yes, sir, you are master steward, I trow.
Ah, no faith. I am but master receiver. I take in all. But by guess I am no payer.
Your master hath a great sort of receivers indeed, but not one to pay the hireling is true meed.
Worldly policy? What make you here today?
About your affairs. I have business this way, and behold, sir, as I travelled the street, with these two fellows I chanced for to meet, who told me that they had an earnest suit to you, one for his house that he dwelleth in now, wherein he saith, you go about to do him much wrong, for he saith that he hath dwelled in it very long. The other said you owe him a piece of money he wrought with you half a year, and had never a penny. And thus they took on with me before you did come, and now I have showed you the whole circumstance, and some.
Marry, hang them villains, for I have naught to do, but to stand and reason with them two. Hear you, tenant, in few words, you know my mind. According as I have told you, you shall me find. Other provide money, your lease to renew, or else you shall out incontinent. This is true.
Oh, landlord, methinks this is too much extremity. Alas, upon mine age, take you some pity. Cham am old, and have many children, and much charge. I trust, landlord, I shall find you better at large.
I cannot tell what you should do more, believe me. Many landlords would not do as I do by thee, for I am content for money. You should have it before another. I can do no more for thee if thou wert my brother.
Muted covetousness.
Thou must be answered, father. There is no remedy. By St. Anne, methink he speak very reasonably.
This reasonable speaking cometh from an unreasonable mind. Woe be to him that to such inconveniences shall a man bind. And now the hireling's muted.
If it please you, sir, help me to my money if you may.
No, by my faith, sir, you get it not today. You shall tarry my leisure. I will pay you when I see cause.
You are happy, sir, in your hands. You have the laws. But by Jis, if I had anything that would do you pleasure, you should have it when you would, and not tarry my leisure. Well, I believe verily that the prayers of the poor and his cry shall ascend into the ears of the Lord God on high, and he will plague all those that righteousness withstand. And as the prophet saith, root their posterity out of the land.
Well, hireling, let us depart this place. It prevaileth not us of him to crave any grace.
No more shall it prevail in the scripture saith indeed, to ask mercy of the Lord when he standeth in need.
I must laugh, so God save me, to see what sort of suitors nowadays we have.
I warrant you, if you will be ruled by reason and policy, you will have all the world to sue to you shortly.
A common saying, the fox fareth the better, not the worse, when that the good wife doth him ban and curse. So, what care I, though, to curse me the people do not cease, as long as by them my riches thus increase. Ho, policy, how glorious my buildings do shine! No gentleman's in this county like unto mine. Sirrah, what shall I do? I must make my barns more great, for I have not room enough to lay in my rye and wheat.
Set men a work with it as soon as ye can. If you lack room, make more than you may then.
By guess I will. They shall in hand tomorrow. I thank you, policy. I need nothing to borrow. Sirrah, the little tenement that by my house does stand, I would I could get that too, even out of hand. I want a little buttery to lay in my drink, and that would serve the term handsomely, I think. And to say truth, it is not meet that such a beggar as he should dwell so near under the nose of me.
Who the devil put that into your mind?
Marry, even that did reason, my trusty friend.
I have been about it myself all this week, ready wit and all the laws for to delay doth seek. We will have it, I warrant you, by hook or by crook. Tush, I warrant you, for such odd ends daily we look.
O thou earth, 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 hear the word of the Lord. Know thyself to be no better than clay or dust. Let the worldly man look suddenly about him. See that thy life to God's truth do always accord. For from earth thou camest, and to earth thou must.
What's the matter? Why? What ail ye? Why look you so about?
I heard a terrible noise, surely, without doubt, which pronounced the words of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Earth, earth, turn thee speedily.
Why? And are you afraid and amazed at that? I see well you have a heart like a gnat.
That servant that diligently doth fulfill, and watcheth at all times for the coming of his master, and doth in the mean season apply his will of his master's goods, there be no spoil nor waster. That servant shall be sure to be a taster of God's blessings and joys everlasting, whereas is all consolation and nothing wanting. But that servant that liveth idly without care, and looketh not diligently upon his office, his master shall come suddenly, for he be aware, and shall minister to him according to justice. The portion of Hippocrates shall be his. Into utter darkness cast him out will he, whereas weeping and gnashing of teeth shall be.
Oh, sirrah, marry, God's blessing on his heart. Full honestly he teacheth you, sir, their part.
These be the words of the Holy Scripture, declaring the difference between the just and unpure. Good Lord, I would know what these words do mean.
Your chaplain can tell you, for he's very well seen.
I pray you, policy, call him to me hither, but look that you come again both together.
Yes, that we will, I warrant. You need not to fear. We will be here again, or ere a horse can lick his ear.
By my truth, methinks I begin to wax sick. In sending away my counselor, I was somewhat too quick. Well, I will sit me down and say to sleep here, till they into this space again do appear. Oh, my head.
It is even I that upon thee doth blow, filling thee with plagues and sundry disease. What I am indeed I will learn thee to know, for I am not afraid thee to displease. thou shalt depart from thy house and land. Thy wife and children beggars thou shalt leave. Thy life thou shalt lose even out of hand, and after death thy just reward receive. Thy ill-gotten goods shall not thee deliver, thine costly buildings shall nothing prevail, thy odours, thy sweet smells, and thou shalt perish together. Thy rings, thy bracelets, and gold chains shall fail. Strangers, and those whom thou didst never know, shall possess that which by fraud thou hast got. Thy seed from off thy ground God will overthrow, because that his prophets preaching thou amendest not. Thou sleepest in death, as the prophet David doth say, out of which sleep when thou shalt awake, thou shalt perceive thou must needs away, and that on thee God will no mercy take. I am the plague of God, properly called, which cometh on the wicked suddenly. I go through all towns and cities strongly walled, striking to death, and that without all mercy. Here, thou wicked, covetous person, I do strike, which once on the plough hadst taken hold, but willingly again thou runnest in the dyke. Therefore thy plague shall be doubled sevenfold.
Come, Sir Nicholas! Come, Sir Nicholas! Come, Sir Nicholas! I'm faint, by Jeez. Would it had a little more bum?
A pestilence take thee, hast thou not enough yet?
No, I can drink a gallon and never a bit.
Come in, ye knave's name, you must expound the matter.
I can expound good ale from fair water.
Tush, fellow, thou must expound a piece of scripture.
I can do it as well as any bishop, I'm sure. I have spouted with the Genevians 20 in a row.
And thou wert too good for them all, I trow.
Yea, faith, that I was. You shall understand. With a piece of Latin, I set them all one dry land.
And I pray thee heartily, what was it? Let me hear.
Thou shalt, if you will promise to give me a pot of beer. Magistorum clericium inci maiorum totus perus altus youngus et oldus multus cnaoribus et quoque fasorum pic persus omnius argentus shaus and polus. Let me see what they are all able to say to this.
For out of doubt a worthy piece of learning it is.
A man may as much edifying out of my Latin take as ye may out of expositios it many ministers make.
Even as thou sayest, in faith much of a kind. For they place the scriptures as feathers in the wind. Peace, body of me, our master is asleep.
It's time indeed for a silence. For a silence to keep?
Worldly man, awake, awake.
Harry, it was time indeed for a silence to keep.
Oh, I would if I could, but now it is too late. Hold thy peace, I pray thee, and do me no more rate.
To whom speak you, sir? To him or to me?
There is no remedy now, man, and that thou dost see.
Question of me, sirrah. He dreameth, methink.
Is there no remedy but to hell I must sink?
For my life devotion, he is haunted with the mare.
Nay, it is some worser thing, truly, I fear.
I hold a crown, he is not very well.
So methinks, for he dreameth of going to hell?
We will wake him out of that troublesome sleep.
Good Lord, seest thou not? Behold how he doth weep.
How do you, good master? Is he asleep or awake?
Oh, good Lord, how my heart doth ache. Oh, sick, never so sick in my life before. Good Lord, policy, I think I shall never go home more.
Harry, God forbid. Why, where is your grief?
All the parts of my body wanted relief. Oh, devotion, I've such pains in my head that truly, I wish myself even dead.
Methought you dreamed, for to yourself you did talk.
Indeed, sir, I dreamed I had a great journey to walk. Oh, what great pains and torments I thought myself in, lying in the fire which to burn did never Lynn. And methought before me the plague of God did stand, ready to strike me with a sword in his hand. And ever I asked him what was the cause, he answered that I was a transgressor of God's laws. But Lord, how sick I am, and how terrible is my pain. No place in my body but sickness therein doth reign. I like not these foolish dreams. Policy, my friend.
Tush, a straw. Upon them never set your mind. He that to dreams giveth any confidence or trust, without doubt very inquietly live he must.
Oh, sick, oh my head, oh my back.
What would you have, sir? Tell us what you lack.
Is it not best that I call hither a physician, that he may of your sickness declare your disposition?
Oh, yea, do so, good devotion. I pray thee, devotion, God's blessing on thy heart for thy witty motion. Depart, I pray thee, with as much haste as may be.
It shall not be long, or he be here. You shall see.
Oh, policy, sick, never so sick. Oh, hold my head. Oh, Sarah, what shall come of all my goods when I am dead?
Dead? Body of me, do you reckon to die this year? Hold your peace. I warrant you, ye need not to fear. Lo, see you not how the worldly man showeth his kind? As sick as he is, on his goods is all his mind.
Oh, policy, if I might not die, what a fellow would I be! In all this country should be none like unto me. Fear what a goodly turret I have made in my hall, but yet my banqueting house pleases me best of all. Oh, alas, what a pang is this at my heart!
Body of me, aquavitae, vinegar, needs help he will depart. St. Uncumber be with us, and the blessing of St. Anthony. Help, help! Our Lady of Walsingham and all her holy company.
What? Now, what is the matter? How doth he, policy?
Body of me, help! He is gone else, and that verily.
Oh, stand away, foolish knave, and let Master Physician come.
Master Flebishitten, should I say, Master Physician, I pray you, look in his bum.
Oh, by your leave, my masters, methinks it is no time to jest. Stand back, I pray you, and do not me molest. Passion of me, masters, count you this a play? One of you, quickly, bring me hither a key. Some drink, aquavitae, if it may be got. With speed let us have some drink that is hot.
Nay, I told you before he was past remedy.
No, there is life in him yet, I see verily. Run, I pray you, and fetch such things as we lack. Some drink, and a pillow to lay at his back.
Here is drink, and all things ready at hand.
Oh, give me room, I pray you, out of my light stand.
Jesu mercy, lo, how busy Master Physician is. Here you, sir, Is it not best you look upon his piss?
Good fellow, be content, I pray thee heartily. Thou art disposed to jest, methink verily.
Good fellow, good man, Hoopole, I will make you change your note. Before that, for your labour, you get the value of a groat.
What how, worldly man? In God's name, I say. Look up, for the love of God. Do not like a beast decay.
Who is there? What art thou that callest me?
Marry, sir, Master Flebby-Shitten, the physician is come, and it was he.
Oh, sirs, I fear me all this labour is in vain. You might have let me go. I was well out of my pain. Oh, master physician, how think you? What say you to me?
By my truth, there is no remedy but one that I can see. You must put your will to God's will. I can say no more.
Why, foolish physician, he knew that well enough before.
What sayest thou? Is there no remedy, but I must die?
No, sir, by my truth, as far as I can see or to spy, God may do much, for he is omnipotent. But you are past help in this world, in man's judgment.
What the devil dost thou here? Then get thee away.
Depart, physician, and thou hast no more to say.
I trust then, sir, you will content me for my pains taking.
You shall have a new loaf at the maid's next baking.
Go thy ways, I pray thee, and trouble not my mind. For these news, to give me anything in my heart I cannot find.
Good Lord, have mercy on thee. Belike it is too late to amend. In wickedness thou hast lived, even so thou wilt end. Gentlemen, I trust you will not see me lose my labour.
Gentlemen, go as you came. You are not so much in my favour.
What common saying indeed, that is like unto like. A wicked master for wicked servants. God must needs strike.
Oh, sirs, is there no remedy? What shall I say? Is it not best I set all things at a stay?
Yes, make sure work of that whilst you be here.
It is time indeed, for death in you doth appear.
Once you know that I am greatly in debt, and now every one will strive their own for to get. Bid my wife, therefore, get a letter of administration as soon as she may, and then as she listeth, my creditors she may pay. Indeed, I have enough to pay every man his, but by lady I cannot tell what mine own shall miss. Commend me to her, and bid her take no thought, but in any wise let her, as near she can, forego naught.
By my truth, this is wonderfully well invented. As you have said, I warrant you it shall be frequented.
Your mind in this thing, undoubted, is not ill. Now, as for other things, it's best you make a will.
It shall be devotion, even thou as thou hast said. Right quickly for the life of my life I am afraid. Oh, must I needs die? Oh, must I needs away?
Here's ink and paper. What shall I write?
In the name, first of all, do thou indict.
In the name. What more?
Of what more?
Body of me, down with the paper, away with the ink.
Sin of me. Covetous, he's gone, I think. Hold him. Let's see if any life in him be.
Nay, hold him that will. The devil held him for me.
Passionately, he is dead. How shall we do now?
Canst thou not tell? No more can I make God a vow. Sirrah, here was a trim end that he did make. Thou never heardst him the name of God in his mouth take.
Oh, God. Oh, his mind was other ways occupied. All his study was who should have his goods when he died. Indeed, all men may perceive his mind to be corrupt and ill, for God would not suffer him to condemn him in his will. A strange matter when men have given over God, they may be sure to be scourged with his sharp rod.
This is the end always where I begin, for I am the root of all wickedness and sin. I never rest to teach and instruct men to evil, till I bring them, both body and soul, to the devil, as we have done this worldly man, as here you see. Come therefore, ignorance, wait thou upon me. The devil and I, thou shalt see, will not leave till we have made the greatest part to us to cleave. Come, let us go hence, here's no more to be said. Farewell, my masters, our parts we have played.
Oh, 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 all is mine, all is mine. My kingdom increaseth every hour and day. Oh, how they seek my majesty divine, to come to me they labour all that they may. The worldly man, quoth he, nay, the devilish man then, for more wickedness and mischief than he did use, I myself indeed never devise can. Oh, at his jolly wisdom I must needs muse. How cunningly he put his money to usury. Yea, and that without offence of any law. He was not to learn any kind of bribery, whereby wicked gains to him he might draw. An abominable drunkard, a stinking lecherer, a filthy sodomite, a corrupt conscience within, a privy slanderer, and a subtle murderer. To be short, a very dunghill and sink of sin. Oh, my boy Covertous, I thank thee of all of this. Thou mold'st him in all mischief and vice. Therefore shalt thou be sure to have my bliss. For above other, thou indeed art most wise. Thou teachest the worldly man a leasemonger to be, to oppress the poor, and of his riches him to defraud, wickedly to use the laws he learned of thee. Therefore, indeed, thou art worthy of much laud. All you worldly men, that in your riches do trust, be merry and jocund, build palaces, make lusty cheer. Put your money to usury, let it not lie and rust. Occupy yourselves in my laws while ye be here. Spare not, care not what mischief you frequent. Use drunkenness, deceit, take other men's wives. Pass of nothing. 1 hour is enough to repent of all the wickedness you have done in your lives. Oh, if you will thus after my laws behave, you shall have all things as this worldly man had. Be bold of me, what you will to crave, and doubt you not, but with you I will play the loving lad. Yea, and after death I will provide a place for you in my kingdom forever to reign. You shall fare no worse than doth mine own grace, that is, to lie burning forever in pain. Come on, mine own boy, go thou with me. Thou hast served me duly, and hatest me never. Therefore now, for thy pains, rewarded shalt thou be in everlasting fire that burneth forever. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled with the same, and he that keepeth company with those that be vicious shall at the length grow like unto the same, working things wicked and pernicious. Even so it is also to be associate with the righteous, for he that haunteth and keepeth honest company cannot choose but live according to the same. Actually, example, The Jews, being conversant with the heathen, drank of their superstition and idolatry, and by that means fell from the true God of heaven to worship of blocks, which was mere blasphemy. Likewise, it is at this day verily Christian men are seduced by keeping ill company, and brought from the very truth to hypocrisy. And who are those that are thus deceived? Even such as are not content when two are well. They be not thankful for that they have received, but ever they think still more and more to excel. Contentation from their minds they do expel. And under the pretense of reason, wit, and policy, they covet to run to mischief and sin hitherly.
Like as gold and silver is tried in the fire, so faithful men in the furnace of adversity be proved. The heavenly must not live as flesh and lust doth desire, but heavenly things of heavenly men be loved. With no kind of temptation he must be moved, be it sickness or poverty, or whatsoever of God is sent. The heavenly must take it patiently, and be therewith content.
Enough is as good as a feast where contentation doth dwell, for where he remaineth is the Spirit of God with rest. The unquiet mind of the covetous doth grutch and swell, and to live with enough he doth abhor and detest. The greedy grasping of covetous doth him so molest, that to be rich, to be all his whole mind doth set, nothing regarding how the same he doth get.
Pythagoras saith that a man of covetous desire cannot be contented neither with abundance. For the more he hath, the more still he doth require, wherefore such persons provoke God to vengeance. Example of the worldly man, and late of remembrance, whose wicked life offended the Lord so exceedingly that his heavy plagues came upon him suddenly.
God grant his end, example may be to all men how their riches they shall use. Make not that very God, which should be servant unto thee, for in so doing thou dost it greatly abuse. I pray God, I say, that our covetous we may refuse, and one of us to love another, for that pleaseth God best. So shall we be sure to inherit the good land of rest.
By God's great goodness I am sent unto thee. Rest is my name, wherein the heavenly shall abide. Happy are those persons that come unto me, for I being present, all troubles I do divide. With joys I am adorned, yea, on every side, which are prepared for the heavenly from the beginning, and given unto them for a reward of their godly living.
Thanks be given to thee, O Father omnipotent. Thy mercies, Lord, and not in my deserts truly, hath caused those joys to me to be sent. Grant me grace, therefore, to praise thy name duly. Thy goodness appeareth to me every day newly. Whilst breath and life prolong my days, my mouth shall not cease thy holy name to praise.
Enough is as good as a feast, here let us stay. We have troubled our audience, let us remember. Let us conclude, therefore, but first let us pray, that it will please God in our mercy our good mistress to tender, our faith to establish wherein we be slender, that at the last day when the trump shall blow, for to be heavenly men, the Lord may us all know.
First let us call to God for Jesu Christ's sake, long to preserve Elizabeth, our most noble queen. Good Lord, grant her highness the heavenly path to take, and that by all byways of her highness may be seen. Increase her wealth, prolong her health, preserve her life, that long she may rule this realm without debate or strife.
And thus ends the play. There's a lot of good in there. There's a lot of other stuff in there, but there's a lot there are some really very good sequences. I think I put in the chat, and then the Scrooge, you will be visited by 3 ghosts. Towards the end, it's very like that. But we also get this very nice bit about landlords and the sort of political theatre side of it that is still remains very appropriate. I mean, and works very nicely. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. It's always that slight problem with the morality play when all the good people turn up at the beginning and you just want to punch them in the face. And it's just, it's a little awkward. But you have to establish, I suppose, he was following the good path initially, and then he's driven from it, and he becomes this miser. But yeah, I remember now from that first session when we were talking about he's making his will and he doesn't speak to God, and then he dies, and that's the point when he's doomed. And that he didn't get that sentence out. And I remember that being that very important dramatic moment actually there, that he needs to get this out and he doesn't, and he dies, and then Satan literally drags him to hell, which again is quite pleasing. And yeah, Satan as ever, good value for money. I thought. Thoughts in the room. We don't have a vast amount of time, but we have time for a few thoughts on this one. As I say, it's been a long time. I now remember this play in a way that I really didn't before we started, and now I'm going, oh yeah, I remember, I was there. I remember this one. Thoughts in the room. Tumbleweeds. Sarah, and then Helen.
I think this has got legs for a modern production, but I really think you would need to cut a lot of not just the goody two-shoes people at the beginning, but also the vices. It went on way too long. I felt it really picked up when we got to the stuff about the landlords and the gig economy. That's going to play so well to a modern audience. So I would say cut a lot of the first half, really, and keep as much as you need to set the scene and set up the structure of who's doing what and to whom, but then just cut straight into the stuff that's gonna resonate with a contemporary audience, and also I mean there's always scope to do this with one of these morality tales, but you could actually use this as a quite a fun satire, if you did the thing where you kind of got the actors to sort of lean into current political figures, and there are some very well-known people that would kind of you could perform as. If you wanted to take it down that kind of political satire route, it's very easy to do with this kind of play. But it would go down a storm, I think. And then all the drama, especially of Satan at the end. I mean, yeah, that's going to land today, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I really quite like The Prophet and God's Plague and that stuff, because actually there's what I really like, the stage direction, of course, they didn't hear. Enter God's Plague and stand behind him a while before he speak. So it's like he's gone to sleep, and then this vision appears, and you think, well, you're going to spend a little bit of time making that look good, and then that comes out. I think there's possibly more legs in the early Vice sequence than we got out of it. Just for the viewers, the script still wasn't quite right a lot of the time, and understanding what the game was at that opening instance would have really helped. Actually, we talked about that, but we didn't really have time to do that, to give that a bit more oomph, because there's all this going off and coming back on again, and things, but then also there's this thing. I did quite like the way Covetousness is going. Let me think of a name. There's a lot of potential there that actually we could get out of that in a physical space. I don't think Zoom works for that very well. Anyway, Helen, and then Lynn.
I'm actually 99% of what I was going to say has just been said by Sarah and your good self. the only other thing is that, as I said in the first time we read it, every single early modern will began in the name of God, Amen, and he got in the name and of, but he couldn't make it as far as God. And this the audience would have understood.
And actually, yes, a production kind of needs to set that up, maybe with an alternative prologue at the beginning, just to set out this point and really clarify.
Or find some other thing that people know about that includes the name of God.
Lynn, then Stephen.
No, I'm just twitchy. I don't have anything.
Okay, Stephen.
I just got this twitch. Yeah, well, just following on from that, I think one of the challenges for a production is a sort of kinetic one, in the sense that, the voices did not leap off the page. I agree, and there's that weird thing of there are three of you, but I'm going to chuck those two away almost immediately, and so you kind of got that going on. But what are we actually going to be seeing? What are the bodies in space going to be doing? And it's sort of like, and stained glass come to life sort of thing. So, and one thing that the Vicious do have is this kind of balls of the feet sort of springiness to them physically. And it's really there in that script, as you were saying, Rob, all of this business. So even though textually, the second half has, really good integrity, I think, how are you going to give it a sort of physical life for people for whom a sermon come to life is not going to cut it. So that would be a kind of challenge, I think, especially towards the end, of course, when the sort of the pull would always be towards immobility, wouldn't it? And quite a restricted physical palette.
Yeah, it's interesting with the also just going to the doubling, because the doubling here doesn't work, but it does seem, I was going through it, I think 7 is the right number. I get the impression that the printer or whoever devised the casting list that got printed knew that there were supposed to be 7 actors, because if you look at the way the play flows, there is a crunch point where you kind of need 7. However, if you tweak the text, you don't. And I think there is an option there in the dramaturging for it that you could get it down to a much smaller number as well, which again gives it more viability for us, because it's always going to be a bit of a niche audience, this kind of text. So if you can get the numbers down, that kind of helps. Aliki, then Alan.
Well, you've sort of answered it by saying it was a niche audience, but I was thinking about what Stephen said about a sermon, and how one manages the question of there's a large chunk of potential audience who just doesn't know the theology at all, and to whom the logic of this doesn't really make sense. And then there's another chunk of audience who already knows all of this stuff, and they know what it is, and it's a morality play. Fine. They'll probably be happy almost whatever anybody does. And then there's a whole set of people who have had a distressing religious upbringing, who might be coming from, I don't know, basically it's this, how do you balance this mixture of entertainment and theology in a time when the theology isn't understood by everybody?
Or for that matter, can you get the denomination right? Because that's also the problem of it's quite difficult doing anything, pitching anything that has a slightly religious angle. It's a bit of a hiding to nothing to a degree. I think there is the way of leaning into the Brechtian sort of just don't be an arsehole ness to it. You can't throw away the theology completely, but you can at least sort of frame it so that it's not quite so. I mean, the basically the very end of the play with Contentation, heavenly man enough, etc., is a bit much.
This whole thing, which they say that he, even if he'd had 1 second at the end where he thought of his soul instead of his stuff, he'd have been okay.
Alan.
Yeah, I think it's very much of its time, and I think that the point that an awful lot of the background theology and so on is no longer common parlance. On the doubling side, the one change that would sort out many of the issues would simply be to add Satan to Heavenly Man, because that would save that one character from doing incredibly quick changes.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, the tweaking the doubling is easy. It really is. You just go through it and ignore what's in place, because the crunch point is the crossover from the first scene with Heavenly Man, Worldly Man, and the other person, with the introduction of the vice and the other three vices. That it's a slightly awkward crunch point where you have to have 7 people passing. 3 people on, 4 people, 3 people off, 4 people on. Now you can tweak that, and then the rest of the play is easy, because all of the vices, there are only 2 vices for the rest of the play, and then everybody else sort of pops in and out. So it's actually structurally pretty straightforward from that point onwards. So all you really need to do is dramaturge scene 1 into scene 2, as I've been adding scenes as we go. There's about 5. I'd argue 6 if you do sort of A's and B scenes, in the sense that the stage isn't empty, but 6 or 7 rather. So in that sense, it's quite easy if you are changing the text, which I think is reasonable. It's also quite a long one. It's a good 2 hours plus, including an interval. It's not a plus, including an interval. But that said, it will also be faster, I think, once we got used to the rhythm of the text, because the text is not. It's not an easy one, actually, to say. It doesn't flow awfully well. I mean, some of it was just bad, some of the badness of the version you had, but some of it is just slightly weird.
The rhythm is weird in places. I was trying to work out what the heck the rhyme scheme was, and I think Lynn posted, I'm not quite sure there is one.
Yeah. So there's and again, we've got that weird. The introduction of covetousness is with a sort of stock theatrical trick that is very difficult to replicate today without basically completely rewriting it. I mean, you basically can't use the lyrics that they've got there, because the game is to mash up a whole series of songs, and if nobody knows the songs, it's meaningless. So you kind of have to use, a modern analog for that, probably. Stephen.
Well, 2 things actually. I was just struck by the people say so often in other plays and texts from this period, a plague upon you, or God's plague, or something like that. And I just suddenly wondered if there's perhaps even a slight meta-dramatic element to that. You first thought is obviously this is a biblical reference, but if you've, rather like Herod, if you've literally got this scary character called Plague turning up, possibly in many plays, because we just don't have them, do we? That's really intriguing. And the other point is, it's a bit of a niche point, but that there's a whole bunch of 15th century French plays, farces, which are composed in that manner. They are full of quotations from songs, and the contemporary translator of these farces, who is Californian, her version of it is full of Motown and stuff like that, and that's the way she does it. And it's she does it really, really well, and it kind of brings it to life. You sort of think, oh yeah, this is really this is some kind of insane line by line mashup. But if you hadn't read these modern translations, it would just be scratching. Well, whatever you like to scratch, really, when you're puzzled.
Sarah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was to do with the excellent way in which Alίκη was reading it. But the other thing that occurred to me about that song was that you could rap that quite easily. You'd need practice, obviously, but the fact that it kept that the rhythm kept changing, that does quite often happen in rap music, and so you could actually. It wouldn't take much from what Alίκη was doing to making it into quite a cool, polished rap song that did actually work and sounded like it was meant to be like that.
We're not actually talking about that song.
Which song are we talking about?
Because we didn't even present it as a song. It's Covertous's first speech. Is sort of comprised of bits of, the reason why it keeps changing direction every line or every other line is because what's happening is that they're basically coming on singing, there once was a man who did a thing and now I'm singing another song. And that's why Helen was doing these cue card things. And it's like it was a Dadaist poetry reading.
Oh, I see. Okay, now
what I was doing.
Yeah,
thank you. That explains that.
I quite liked that as a sort of, I could see you in a cafe in Zurich.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Yeah.
But if you're going to do what that text is trying to do, we just need to choose a load of modern pop songs that allied into each other in a really weird way, rather than try and maintain that text, because I don't think you can, to get the effect the play is trying to get. Whereas Aliki's song is just a little untidy. I think it just needs tidying up. There might be some questions about what rhymes going where and what the rhyme scheme is. But that one's straightforward. It's oh covetous, oh covetous. Erratigan. It's has that quality to it. I think we've probably run out of steam. In fact, we've certainly run out of time. It was nice to come back to that. It's got definite staging potentiality. I mean, I don't think it's going to bother the West End anytime soon, but there is an audience for this kind of thing out there, and if we can do it cheaply enough, we can provide it. If you build it, they will come, kind of logic. And I say, if we can do it cheaply enough, it doesn't matter whether we're doing it in relatively small venues. It is building things for different scales. We do two kinds of readings. We do first looks where we stop and start and discuss, and we do second looks where we just do it at pace and try and see how it flows. This is a second look. You are more than welcome, people out there on the internet, to sign up and join us for either of this kind of session. We do sort of other sessions as well, but these are our primary meat and drink stuff. So go to our website, beyondshakespeare.org. There are sign-up sheets on there, regularly updated, except for every so often when very occasionally I forget. And yes, you too can be here with a little box and saying words in some sort of fashion. All that remains then is to say thanks to all the wonderful readers who are here for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. I pray you, look in his bum.